Sometimes life doesn't follow the plan we thought it would. No pension, no savings, and no one to lean on. It can feel scary, even unfair. But I've worked with hundreds of older adults who found quiet, steady ways to care for themselves and live with dignity. I want to share 6 of those ways with you. Not as rules, but as warm, gentle options you can try one step at a time. Let me start with something simple but often overlooked. Finding small, meaningful ways to earn a bit of money. And maybe a little joy too. I know the idea of working again might feel overwhelming. You might be thinking, I'm tired, or no one's hiring someone my age. But hear me out. I've seen firsthand that even a few hours a week doing something you enjoy, something light, familiar, can ease your financial stress and bring back a sense of purpose. It's not about returning to the workforce full-time. It's about staying connected, useful, and just a bit more secure. A few years ago, I met Ruth, 70, from Iowa. She'd been living alone since her husband passed, and her only daughter had moved across the country. Ruth's pension had never materialized due to a paperwork mix-up years ago, and she didn't have savings. She was scraping by, on Social Security, feeling invisible. One day, a neighbor asked if Ruth could help walk her dog while she recovered from surgery. That small favor turned into a routine. Ruth now walks 3 neighborhood dogs, earns around $180 a week, and, as she told me, has friends who wag their tails when they see her. Another client of mine, Bill, 73, from Oregon, started helping a local church fold newsletters. It's just 2 mornings a week, but it covers his phone bill and gives him a reason to get up, shave, and see familiar faces. What often helps is to look for small, low-stress tasks you already know how to do: light cleaning, babysitting. For a neighbor, tutoring, organizing, pet care, or phone check-ins for lonely seniors. Local community boards, churches, or even websites like Nextdoor or Care.com can connect you. Think of what feels doable and start from there. Even if it's just a few dollars a day or a weekly outing, that's a seed. A seed of independence, of routine, of being needed. And seeds, even tiny ones, have a way of growing into something good. Here's another path many overlook: using community and government programs without shame, just wisdom. For many older adults, asking for help feels like failure. You worked hard your whole life. Now the idea of standing in line for food or filling out forms can feel degrading. But I always remind people that these services exist because you earned them. They're not charity. They're part of what you paid into, what society promised to give back when the time came. And that time is now. I think of Edna, 76, from Ohio. After her husband passed, the bills didn't shrink with the household. Her pension was minimal, and the rising cost of groceries became overwhelming. Edna once confessed that some nights she'd eat only toast to save money. It wasn't until a neighbor gently told her about a local food pantry and the SNAP program that she applied. Now she picks up groceries weekly at the community center and receives $140 monthly in benefits. Her fridge isn't empty anymore, and she feels respected by the volunteers who greet her by name. Another woman I know, Clara, 68, from Nevada, now receives home-delivered meals through Meals on Wheels. She used to skip dinner. Now she eats balanced meals and even shares recipes again. What often helps is starting with one phone call, usually to your local senior center or area agency, on aging. Ask what programs you're eligible for: food, utilities, transport, medication discounts. They'll guide you through it step by step. You are not a burden for needing help. You are a part of a community that still values you. Let it lift you the way you once lifted others. Let's talk about something many don't realize can make a real difference: sharing your space or your time with someone else. Living alone in later life isn't just lonely. It can be expensive. Rent, utilities, groceries, they don't shrink just because we're aging. And when there's no second income or family support, it's easy to feel trapped. But I've seen how sharing a home or living arrangement with someone trustworthy can ease both financial and emotional weight. You don't have to go it alone. A few years back, I met Lillian, 74, from Colorado Springs. Her house had become too quiet and too costly after her husband passed. She met Denise, 69, at a quilting club. Both were living on tight budgets, both were widowed. Eventually, they moved in together. Each kept their own bedroom, but they shared the kitchen, split groceries, and even watched shows together in the evenings. Their bills dropped by half, but more importantly, they had someone to talk to again. Another man I worked with, Tom, 72, from Georgia, turned part of his home into a small apartment for a younger veteran who helped around the house in exchange for low rent. Now Tom feels safer, supported, and less isolated. What often helps is looking into home sharing options through trusted programs like Silvernest or local senior services. You can also start by simply reaching out to others in your community who may be in a similar spot. Begin with trust, move slowly, and find someone whose rhythm matches yours. Two people sharing life can be lighter than one person carrying it alone. Even companionship, like a shared meal or morning coffee, can turn a hard day into a gentler one. Another key that often gets overlooked is taking care of your body, not with big changes or fancy programs, but with steady, gentle habits that protect your health before problems grow. Many older adults tell me, "I don't have the energy," or "It's too late to start now." I understand that. When you're living with limited money, it feels like health slips down the list. But I've seen time and again how small efforts, daily walks, easy stretches, a little movement, can reduce pain, prevent illness, and even lower costs for medications and doctor visits. Good health isn't a luxury. It's your lifeline, and it starts where you are right now. I once worked with Harold, 66, from Arkansas. He used to sit most of the day and watching TV, napping. His knees ached, his back was stiff, and he was on 4 prescriptions. When his local senior center offered a free, gentle movement class, he decided to try just once. That one class turned into a routine, walking 15 minutes each morning and doing stretches he learned with a group. After 6 months, Harold had dropped one medication, slept better, and said his body felt younger than it had in years. Another woman, Jean, 71, from Arizona, began taking silver sneakers classes twice a week at a nearby gym. She told me it gave her not just strength, but friendships. One of the simplest steps is starting with a daily walk, even just around the block. Or find a local center that offers senior fitness programs. Many are free with Medicare. Moving your body helps your heart, your joints, and your mood. Think of movement as medicine. It's free, it's available, and it reminds your body and your spirit that you're still here, still strong, still able to take steps forward. Let me share something that surprises many people I work with. You can earn money from home using simple tasks online, even if you're not tech-savvy. When you've grown up in a world without computers, the internet can feel like a foreign country. I've heard folks say, "I'm too old for that," or "I don't know where to begin." But I've walked side by side with older adults who started with zero experience and ended up making small but steady income, just using their phones or a borrowed laptop. The key is finding simple, honest tasks that match the skills you already have, not learning something new, just applying what you know in a new space. One example that comes to mind is Carol, 69, from New Jersey. She had worked as a secretary for decades, but retired without savings. After her daughter showed her how to use a basic freelance website, Carol began offering to help people organize schedules, answer emails, and type simple documents. She now earns around $350 a month from home and says she feels useful and independent again. Another man I know, Henry, 72, from Minnesota, started proofreading menus and church bulletins for small businesses through Fiverr. He told me he's finally able to afford new glasses with the money he makes each month. What often helps is starting with one platform, like Upwork, Freelancer, or Fiverr, and creating a very simple profile. Offer something you're comfortable doing, typing, proofreading, calling people, writing thank you notes. Many of these jobs are quick and don't require advanced skills. Earning from home can feel like planting a garden. You don't need much, just a few tools, a bit of sunlight, and patience. And one day, something small turns into something that helps you breathe easier. There's one more path I always encourage, finding small daily joys that cost nothing but feed your spirit. When money is tight and the world feels uncertain, joy can seem like a luxury. Many older adults I talk to say they've stopped doing things they love because they can't afford it or feel like it doesn't matter anymore. But the truth is, emotional health is just as important as physical health. And often, It's the little pleasures, the tiny moments of meaning that keep us going. Joy isn't about spending money. It's about remembering what makes you feel alive. I remember George, 75, from Montana. After his wife passed and his pension ran dry, he moved into a small trailer and stopped going out. But one day he found an old sketch pad, sat by the river and started drawing again. It became his ritual. Morning coffee, a folding chair and a pencil in hand. Neighbors began to notice. One even brought him fresh paper. George said he felt seen for the first time in years. Then there's Betty, 70, in North Carolina, who writes postcards to old friends every Sunday. She says it's her way of keeping the lights on inside. One of the simplest steps is asking yourself, what did I once love that didn't cost a thing? Was it humming a song, telling stories, watching birds, journaling? Bring one of those back. Just once a day, even for 5 minutes. Joy is like sunlight through a window. It doesn't ask for permission, but it changes how everything feels. You are allowed to feel good, to smile, even when things are hard, especially then, if something here spoke to you, even just one idea. I hope you'll share it in the comments. You never know who else it might help. And if you'd like more support, more small steps like these, tap that subscribe button and ring the bell. Remember this, you are not alone. You are needed. And even when life feels heavy, there is still light, still dignity, still a reason to begin again. One gentle step at a time.